I don't even want to mince words. Our health system is trash. This is the reason why I actually studied medicine and surgery. It is important to have plenty money. When I was in pediatrics, guy, I cried. I stopped going to school. I wouldn't even repeat it again. Like, there's not a more important cause. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please don't make today your last. Please click on the subscribe button. If you're not new, thank you so much for coming back. I hope you're also subscribed. So guys, today I want us to talk about 8 things I've learned in my 8 years of med school. If you know me, then you know that 3 days ago I just became a doctor. Guys, it was an 8 years journey and it's finished. But guys, 8 years is such a long time, and I have to say I actually learned so much, and that's what we'll be sharing here. Med school is it's supposed to be 6 years in like federal public schools, but because of our educational system, strikes, COVID, we ended up doing 8 years in med school. So guys, yeah, that's how I did 8 years of med school. So let's just go straight to what I learned in this long period of almost a decade. Okay, number 1, guys, everybody's race is different. Now, I know you've heard this a lot. You've heard it from different places. But when you come into medical school, especially in a federal university, you will learn that everybody's own is different. If you're a med student, then you know that you come into school with your friends year 1. By year 4, they are graduating. You see them with their convocation gowns. They are getting married. They are getting proposed to. They are getting pregnant. They have families. And guy, you're still in year 4 and you're like, oh my god, I want to enter clinicals, and you're still reading. Just shows you how different you are from the rest of the world. People are moving on with life. People are starting huge businesses that are running well, but you are in school still reading. So guys, I guess it teaches you after you're done with med school or during med school that you cannot look at another person's own. Like, everybody's journey is different, and you must respect your own. Remove your eye from other people's story, focus on your own, because at the end, when you come out, your own is still going to bang. Do you get? Everybody has different timelines for different things, so just rest in your own story, rest in your journey, and do your things when it's time for you to do them. Don't look at other people that are non-medics and compare your timeline with theirs. It can't even work. They are going to be moving seemingly faster than you are, but remember, you have a different path. It might also seem as if you're being delayed. Sometimes, I know when we're in school, guys, when we're in school, it was like three days ago, but still, when we're in school, we used to say, "Che, just look at us." I used to say, we're so stagnated, we're not moving. For 8 years I've been in school, you know. So you just learn that because you're here for 8 years, at the end, the degree you're coming out with, guy, is heavy. Do you get? So just rest in your own knowledge of your own journey. That's the first thing I learned. Second thing I learned is that, guy, as a medical student, as a doctor, you're going to have to develop a tough skin. What do I mean? I mean, you're going to have to shield yourself from certain situations in the hospital. I don't want to be misunderstood, so I'm not saying have a hard heart. As a doctor, you see people at their lowest point. In the hospital, you realize that you see people losing their loved ones. You see people losing their children. And it's easy for these things to get to you. When I was in pediatrics, guy, I cried. My first day of pediatrics, I cried. Because my patient that had, guys, seeing death, seeing people at their lowest point, it takes a toll on you. And if you do not find a way to separate yourself and say, okay, I'm going to keep on seeing sick people for the rest of my life, definitely I'm going to have to see some of them die. You need to be able to say, okay, I'm going to do my best for this person, but afterwards I'm going to have to move on to the next person to do my best. Because let me tell you guys, if you get extremely connected to this patient, what's going to happen is that you're going to lose yourself. And it happened to me in year 5. I got so broken when a favorite patient of mine died. I couldn't do anything. Like, I stopped going to school. Like, it was that bad. So like what I'm saying, no matter how you're getting close to patients, don't get to the point where you now start to have favorites and you start to get so overwhelmed. I understand that there's some particular patients that will actually be dear to you and you must be touched if anything happens to them, but understand that your work is for a lot of patients. It's not just one. So do not let yourself get too absorbed in the whole job that you lose yourself when you lose any of them. Remember that you are not God. You cannot give life. You are there to protect life, and in certain situations to prevent death from happening. You do your own best. You just do your own best. Sometimes things will not go as you have planned. In the same vein, I'd like to also say be careful, because a lot of doctors have lost their humanity because they see death happening back to back to back to back to back. And sometimes we see that in a lot of our federal hospitals. We just see people just dying, and then it seems like the health workers don't care anymore because of the large inflow of people that are just dying. You have to strike a balance. You can't be extremely hard. You shouldn't be hard, but you also shouldn't be extremely soft, that every patient that gets ill, you start to cry, you break down. How many times are you going to break down? So you have to understand that, okay, this is a patient. I'm here professionally. You get, I will do my best. I'll give my best advice. I'll take the best decision professionally. It is not for me to put in my personal life into this patient. I know that point is probably going to have a few issues, but it's okay. This is what 8 years of med school has taught me. Number 3, guy, the reward for being a doctor is not your payment. The reward is not your salary. I don't know. In fact, if you're a Nigerian doctor, then you know this. The money cannot be your reward. You need to understand that the reward of medicine, the reward of medical practice is seeing your patient recover. The reward is seeing his wife, is seeing his children happy. The reward is seeing the person that came almost dead standing. There's a feeling you get, guy. Money cannot even buy that feeling. I don't know. So if you want to come into medicine thinking that you're going to be rich, please throw that thought away. Do you get, like, throw that thought away? Even for those that are already here, even for us that are already here, it's not about the money. Because if it's about the money, there are different other places you can actually get that same money. In Nigeria, the money is even trash, but you're there because you actually make a difference in people's lives. So let's not lose fact of the one point, the singular reason for you being a doctor. That's it. So I learned that as well. Number 4, the next thing I learned in 8 years of studying medicine. Yes, it was 8 years. It was stressful. I wouldn't even repeat it again. Like, I can't be, no, now it was a lot. But what I have to say, and you can quote me anywhere, there's not a more important cause. I said that with a straight face. There's not a more important cause. Guy, you are literally doing your best to bring back life to somebody. And amidst the insufficiencies of our healthcare system, you can make a difference. You can make the biggest difference. Guy, that's huge. That's huge. That's big. You can do one thing and somebody's story, somebody's family story will just turn. I don't know if you understand me. So I do not think that, yes, everybody has, you know, what they bring into society, what they bring into community and everything. But what we have to deal with is the most precious thing. So there is not a more important cause. Number 5, what I learned from 8 years of being in medical school. It is important to have plenty money. Yes, I say money is not the reward and everything, but especially if you're in a failing healthcare system like ours, see, a lot of patients that come to the hospital, they don't have money. They come when things are very, very bad. They come when there is almost no hope. A lot of times, sometimes we say they even come just to die. because they wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and come at the very end. But see, it's not like they just wait. A lot of times they do not have what it takes to get proper treatment, to get proper health care, and that's why they wait until it's very, very, very bad. That's why they go to other places to get their health care before they come to us in the hospital. When they come, because of the way our health system is structured, if you don't have money to pay out of pocket, you don't have health care. I don't know if, in fact, everybody that is watching this, if you're a Nigerian, you understand what I mean. Guy, let me just tell you the truth. In those hospitals, the people that pay for a lot of the emergency payments are the health workers. I just finished med school like 3 days ago, and I know how many times I brought out my money as a student for patients. You'll be in the hospital and they'll bring an emergency case. The woman doesn't have any money. She needs blood. There's no... It's not great. But I know how many times I've rallied round. Doctors will contribute money. Students will contribute money. We will get drugs. We will get... I know I've climbed the DPTH how many times because of patients. You need to have money to help people, because a lot of times people that come, they come and they have nothing and they can't help themselves. And that's not to say that that's the job of doctors. No, you have a responsibility to come, do your job and save lives. Your job is not a fundraising job. So for any other person that is watching this and saying it's true, so why, when there are emergencies, why don't the doctors contribute? That's not their job at all. I'm just saying this based on, it's not your job. You don't have to do, you know, you don't have to bring out your own money for another person. But if you feel like it, if you're actually touched by that person, then it makes so much sense. Like it's so much better when you have your money and you're helping somebody else. It makes it a bit worthwhile. Do you get? Because a lot of times you just see these patients and nobody can do anything. They can't afford the particular type of drugs that they need to get better, and then a lot of times you end up losing them, and it's because of lack and it's because of poverty. So it can be very frustrating. It makes the work hard. So sometimes if you have what you use to help them, it can make you it can make you feel better. Guys, this sounds so depressing. The next thing I've learned in med school is that guy, the public is so ignorant. I think the Nigerian public is so ignorant of health. I don't know if in our schools we don't teach certain things, like in secondary school, primary school, because before you see somebody that is not in the medical field have a good grasp of even the function of their organs is bad. And then sometimes when things happen, you see the public in an uproar and they're angry. In fact, there are so many practices that Nigerians that is very detrimental to our health. I don't know if I'll make this another topic, like drinking all this agbo, these herbs and all those things that people mix it to clear your system. Guy, if you know these things lead to kidney damage, as far you run away from them. So I don't know, I think the fault is in our public health system, like teaching the public about these things. But we are so ignorant, and it's so, in fact, sometimes you be in the hospital, somebody will come. There was a time a woman came with her child and we said, what's wrong? She said the child can't eat, the child has been ill. Okay, but has the child eaten today? No. This is a child the child was 1 year, because it wasn't complimentary, the child wasn't breastfeeding, the child was 1 year. Have you given this child anything to eat? If I give, he does not want to eat. So you stopped giving. Yes. How long ago? It's like 3 days now. You have not fed your child. And do you know what's even painful? Is that a lot of people that are going to watch this video will not understand how bad it is to not feed a child because the child does not want to eat. Meanwhile, that child was vomiting and stooling, and you're not putting anything back into the child. I understand that the doctors are the specialists, but I feel like there are certain things that are so general that everybody should at least have a little knowledge about. And that child died. Guy. So I'm saying, what am I saying? I'm saying that a lot of us as Nigerians are very ignorant about our health. Sometimes some patients will come in and their blood pressure is so high, and they don't even get the gravity of the situation, and you're like, okay, please. They're like, I want to go, I have something to do. Can you calm down? Let us drop this blood pressure first. And he's like, I have something to do, I'm busy. And you go out and you drop. So I don't know. Number 7 thing I learned from 8 years in med school is that doctors are God sent. Doctors are God sent. You are being taught a skill that, I don't want to overhype doctors, but until you see somebody that you care about and the person is going and you're screaming for help, and there's somebody with the knowledge to at least do something, it might not always be successful, but you have the ability, you have the knowledge to do something that can stop deaths. This is the reason why I actually studied medicine and surgery. Because when I was in secondary school, I just felt like, wow, what would it be like to have what it takes? I know that it's not every time the person is not going to die, but to have what it takes to interrupt death. Like, guy, that was my why, why studying medicine. And that's why emergency medicine is something that is very interesting to me, because those life and death moments where you have 5 seconds, you have 10, although it's not like that in Nigeria. Don't even be deceived. If you are in secondary school watching this video, or you're writing jam and you think that process is happening here, it's not happening. Which brings me to number 8 points, what I learned in 8 years of med school. Guy, we need to do better with our health system. I don't even want to mince words. Our health system is trash. Our health system is trash. Now, mind you, I didn't say our doctors or our health workers are trash. No. The knowledge, health workers have it. Our nurses are good. Our doctors are good. They have what it takes, because we see them when they go to other places, when they go to other countries, and they thrive. Do you get me? But in Nigeria, it now seems like the whole thing is falling apart. Guy, let me just tell you from experience as an insider, the problem is the system. And it's so sad that the system will literally handcuff people that have the right knowledge, and you can't do anything. Like, something has to be done about the health system. It's not giving what it's supposed to give. It's not giving half of what it's supposed to give. We need to do better. I don't know exactly where the problem is coming from. I think it's part leadership, structure that isn't working. As per, everything needs to be analyzed, starting from the head and flowing downwards. We need to know how things are working. We need a better response system. Emergency has to work. People do their best, but sometimes you see emergency units running on generators. How now? Now why? It doesn't make any sense. This video is not to rant. I don't know if you get me. It's not to rant. It's just to say that finally, every medical student, once they graduate from Nigeria, has one thing at the forefront of their mind: living. Or should I say, most medical students, most doctors want to move out. And that's because of one thing. It's because our structure is not working. It's because our health system is not working. So everybody goes, we finish med school, and the first thing is, okay, how do we go? And I don't think it makes sense. It's an option. It's a very good option for you, but I do not think it makes sense. And so that's the last thing I'm going to be sharing today on the things I learned while I was in med school, like the 8 things I learned from 8 years. In fact, the fact that I'm even doing the fact that I'm a med student for 8 years is enough reason to get angry. And that's because the systems in this country are not working. In fact, to the extent that people will even advise you, take your child to a private school to study medicine so that he or she finishes fast. Trash. We say go to a private hospital. Meanwhile, the best doctors are in the public hospitals. But because of the response time, because the facilities are not working, because the structures are not working, we have this thing we call a health system that needs to be urgently fixed. Guy, what can I say? Vote for your right leaders, elect your right leaders, appoint the right leaders, and ask your leaders questions. That's what I can say. Like, if you see something that is not working properly, I believe you have the right to say, excuse me, even if it's through a letter, even if it's a visit to the particular office, that why are the lights not working? Why is this system not working? Why are there no, why don't we have materials to work? Where exactly is the problem coming from? I have a lecturer that used to do that, and I respect her a lot. People didn't really like her because they felt like she was troublesome, but it's good for us to troubleshoot and say, no, this thing can't just collapse. Do you get me? So if you like this video, or if you can relate with this video, please click on the subscribe button, please like this video, please share this video, and have a great day.
It's the end of the year.